all. Uh, Today I'm going to talk something about Biological Diversity Act 2002. So, conservation of biodiversity is the most critical aspect in the entire world. So, what are the steps taken by India through this act we are going to learn today? So, by definition, what is biodiversity? It is the variability among the living organisms from all the sources, including inter alia, that is, among others, terrestrial, marine, and other aquatic ecosystems and ecological complexes of which they are part. And this includes diversity within the species, between the species, and also of the ecosystems. This was a definition given by Convention on Biological Diversity. Then the another definition is like this: the variability among living organisms from all the sources and the biological complexes of which they are part, and includes diversity within the species or between the species or of the ecosystem. This is referred to as biological diversity. So the levels of biodiversity, it can be at a gene level, genus level, species level, or community or an ecosystem level. So based on that, it is categorized into three levels of biodiversity. Then, to state an aspect of pride that, according to Conservation International, there were 17 mega diverse countries which had at least 5,000 endemic plant species and possess marine ecosystems, and India is one among them. Then India has 10 biogeographical zones. India is categorized as 10 biogeographical zones possessing great diversity of ecological habitats, like we have alpine forests, grasslands, wetlands, coastal and marine ecosystems, and even desert ecosystems. Uh, the best example is Thar Desert at Rajasthan. Then this Biological Diversity Act uh, is to provide what? What are the basic things it is going to provide with this act? Is conservation of biological diversity, that's the first one. Then sustainable use of its components, the second. And fair and equitable sharing of the benefits which are arising out of the use of these biological resources, knowledge, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. So these are the provisions under this Biological Diversity Act 2002. Then what are the silent features of this Biological Diversity Act 2002? To regulate the access to biological resources of the country, to conserve and sustainably use this biological diversity, to respect and protect the knowledge of local communities pertaining to biodiversity, and to secure the sharing of the benefits with the local people as they are conservers of biological resources and holders of knowledge and information related to use of these biological resources. Then conservation and development of the areas of importance from the standpoint of biological diversity by declaring them as biological diversity heritage sites. Then protection and rehabilitation of the threatened species. That's also one of the silent features of the Biological Diversity Act. Then involvement of institutions of the state government in the broad scheme of implementation of this Biological Diversity Act through constitution of the committees. So there are various committees which are constituted under this Biological Diversity Act, which are going to be studied today. Then what are the structures of Biodiversity Act 2002? We have a framework under this Biodiversity Act. So there is a National Biodiversity Authority at the highest level, which have connections with the various ministries of the Indian Union. Then to the next level, it has the state biodiversity boards, and to the next level, it has biodiversity management committees. Then coming to what is this National Biodiversity Authority? So NBA shall be a body which is corporate by the name of Forset, and having a perpetual succession and a common seal with power to acquire, hold, dispose of a property, both movable and immovable, and to contract, and shall by name sue and to be sued. So, the head office of which is located at Chennai, and NBA may be, with the previous approval of the central government, establishes its offices at other places in India as well. It is headed by a chairman. The present chairman is Dr. V.B. Mathur, IFS, and there are also other ex officio members uh, in this National Biodiversity Authority, along with the chairperson from various departments or ministries. Uh, then coming to what are these functions of the NBA? So NBA focuses on advising the central government on the matters related to conservation of biodiversity, sustainable use of its components, and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of utilizing these biological resources. Then advising the state governments in selection of the areas of biodiversity importance to be notified under subsection 1 of section 37 as heritage sites, and measures for management of these heritage sites. Then the NBA considers requests by granting approval or otherwise for undertaking any activity referred to in section 3, 4 and 6 of this act. So these are the in brief the functions of NBA. Then what are these state biodiversity boards, SBBs? So their focus on mainly advising the state governments, subject to any guidelines issued by the central governments, on the matters relating to conservation of biodiversity, sustainable use of its components, and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of utilizing biological resources. Then SBBs also regulate by granting of approvals or otherwise upon request for commercial utilization or biosurvey and bio-utilization of any biological resources by the Indians. So it's going to grant the approvals if it is genuine, and if it is not, it is rejected, and all permissions will be given by this SBBs. So a matter of state aspect, Telangana state also is having Telangana State Biodiversity Board. Uh, These are the two pictures which have been taken from the website of the TS Biodiversity Board. A new species of the fish found in Telangana, Rita bakalu, which was uh, on the left hand side, and on my right hand side, a new species of spider found in Telangana, that is Thomisus telanganensis. So these are being safeguarded and are documented on the website. Then biodiversity management committees. So the local level biodiversity management committees are responsible for promoting the conservation, sustainable use and documentation of the biological diversity, including preservation of habitats, conservation of the land races, folk varieties and cultivars, domesticated stocks and breeds of the animals, microorganisms, chronicling of the knowledge relating to biological diversity. These are the functions and are the works taken up by biodiversity management committees. So since establishment, NBA has supported the creation of SBBs in 28 states and facilitated for establishment of 2,44,727 biodiversity management committees on record. Then penalties and punishments. So if the offences under section 3, 4 and 6 were being provided under section 55 as imprisonment as a violation of these three sections, section 3, 4 and 6, imprisonment for a term extending up to 5 years, or fine which may extend even up to 10 lakhs of rupees for the damage caused more than 10 lakhs, and fine may be commensurating with the damage caused. Then violating the section 7 or any order under 24/2, imprisonment extending up to 3 years and fine extending up to 5 lakhs of rupees, or sometimes both. Then section 57, contravention of the orders. So 1 lakh rupees and continuation of the subsequent offense. So if they are disobeying the orders of the National Biodiversity Authority or the State Biodiversity Board uh, orders, then 1 lakh rupees and continuation of the subsequent offence with a fine which may be extending up to rupees 2 lakhs. In case of continuous contravention with the additional fine which may extend to rupees 2 lakh rupees every day during which the default continues. Then if any person is aggravated by any determination of the benefit sharing or the order of the National Biodiversity Authority or State Biodiversity Authority under this Act, or after the commencement of the National Green Tribunal Act 2010, may file an appeal to National Green Tribunal establishment under the Section 3 of the National Tribunal Act, Green Tribunal Act 2010, in accordance with the provisions of that Act. So these special clause was amended to Biodiversity Act 2002. So the person who feels he is aggrieved by any determination of the benefit sharing or any kind of act of NBA or SBBs, he can go for an appeal. So that has to be done within 30 days after receiving a document or an order from the above authorities, and sometimes it may be extendable up to even 60 days with the valid reasons. If you observe the picture, the National Green Tribunal suspended the permission granted for construction of a hydroelectric project in Zamitan of Arunachal Pradesh of our India, as it is the wintering site of the endangered black-necked crane. So they have uh, suspended the permission which was granted for a hydroelectric project. So this is importance of how biodiversity conservation is given preference even at the cost of development of the nation. So it's a importance is or the scenario of its importance is having worldwide uh, more priority than anything else. Thank you for listening. Thank you.